So you can pick from your own photos.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Oh.
I
Well,
would suggest everyone when we're not in a meeting can go ahead and play around with it as much as they would like and figure out what they would like to do.
all right.
So,
Well, it's great to see everyone, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It is. It is. And I hope everybody is doing well and that nobody knows someone who's terribly sick with this virus, because it's absolutely devastating for people who are touched by it.
We got out of Sun Valley just in time, and they are number 4 in per capita in America.
Oh, no.
96 cases out of 24,000 people in the plane.
Oh, my God.
And then they had a 6.5 earthquake last night. So they've been having a bad couple of weeks. So,
Wow.
So it's a good thing you left.
Well, I think Ann got it. I think my wife had it. She was down. She still can't taste. The only thing she didn't have was a fever. She went to the hospital and they're like, no, you're fine. Just go home. So.
But did she test positive, Joe?
No, they wouldn't test her. They just sent her home.
Oh, okay.
But Idaho wasn't testing people, and that's why they were last, and West Virginia was last as far as getting a positive because they weren't testing anyone at the time. But now it's brought down the majority of the community. So
well, the good news is you're on Zoom.
Yes.
So.
I didn't get it, and everyone else is fine.
No, you're just a silent carrier, man, and we've known that all along.
No, I'm 3 weeks. I'm good. I'm fine.
All right, guys. I think we are up on the YouTube channel now.
It is. I will warn everyone because I have it up both at the same time. The YouTube is on a slight delay from Zoom, so it's a little bit behind. Not much.
Yeah, it was when I was in Idaho, it was about 15-second delay.
Yeah.
So.
Keep the sensors on their toes.
So, Jeff, are we going to try and do public comment at the beginning?
We unfortunately put it on the agenda, so I think we will. But why don't, Ashley, if you bring us to order and kind of start with that, maybe after that I'll talk a little bit about kind of what's going on, and then we'll kind of go from there, and then maybe we'll open up to public comment from that point.
Okay, so I am going to call this meeting to order. I have a little script to read, so I'm going to begin reading that. As a preliminary matter, this is the Nantucket Conservation. This is Ashley Erisman for the Nantucket Conservation Commission. This permits me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond with an affirmative. Mark Beal.
Yes.
Seth Engelberg.
Aye.
Ashley Erisman. Aye. Ian Golding.
Yes.
Dave LaFleur.
Oh, Dave has his mic. There you are. Okay.
Maureen Phillips.
Here.
And Joe Topham.
Here.
Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Jeff Carlson.
Yes.
Joanne Dodd.
Yes.
Okay. Anticipated speakers on the agenda, we don't have any. So introduction to remote meeting. Good afternoon. This open meeting of the Nantucket Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting of the Nantucket Conservation Commission is convening by video conference via Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Oh, I just lost where I was. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, Ashley Erisman, the chair, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in a conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. For items with public comment, after members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment as follows. Staff will activate the chat feature on YouTube. Members of the public who have comments or questions can use this feature to communicate with the public body. Instructions are on the town's website. The chair or staff will do their best to address questions and or comments. Finally, each vote is going to be taken in this meeting with a roll call vote. Okay.
Life.
That is that.
Good job, Ashley.
Yeah. Jeff, do you want to say something before we get into the meeting?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to unmute. Sure. I was just going to say, again, I know this is kind of a difficult platform for everybody, and everything is kind of new, but I think the intent today, as you guys know, we're required by law to open hearings within 21 days of receipt and then to continue to date certain. And we had been doing that and we had a meeting cancellation. So it kind of led us to the point where we needed to pull everyone together to at least kind of discuss that and formally make those things happen. Some of it was also to take a short meeting to get people on the platform and using it and make sure that we could get everyone on and working. And then to also let people know that we do have a posted meeting for tomorrow to discuss the ongoing enforcement issues with the Wisconsin Beach Preservation Fund. So if people have comments for that, tomorrow's meeting would be a more appropriate place than today's. But this is really more to get us back on track date-wise and logistics-wise, but then also get everyone on board. I know Ian had an issue getting on at first, but better to get a dry run out of the way for a simpler meeting than something more complicated. So we appreciate everyone's patience with getting used to a new system of meeting. So hopefully it's not for permanent, but we're doing the best we can.
Thank you, Jeff. So with that, I guess we'll open it up if there's any public comment.
So I got a note here that the live chat is active. You may need to refresh your YouTube page to get that to open up. I know I have YouTube open on my screen, and it looks like I'll have to. So we'll give a second for that to take place.
Oh, got it.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, and really quickly, while we're waiting to see if anyone has any comments, going forward, when we have our regular meetings on this and we start hearing actual applications again, I think the intent would be to have the ability for the presenters to get on to Zoom as well, so we can kind of interact as normal. and then have public comments still come through the chat. But if, just as an example, if Art Gasbara was presenting an application, instead of asking him to live chat it through YouTube, that he would simply have the ability to be one of the boxes, so we could speak and ask him questions, and then the public could participate through the normal portal. But that would only be an option available to the specific representative of the project.
Good idea.
Thank you, Jeff.
I don't think I could handle a 10-minute chat presentation from Art, and having to read it as we went. So I think that's the plan.
Yeah, that would be somewhat of a nightmare.
All right. I'm not seeing anyone chatting, Ashley. So I think if we want to move on, I think that's probably fine.
Okay. So at this point, we're going to move into the public hearing. The purpose of tonight is really to accept the continuances. So can somebody make a motion to accept the posted continuances as listed on our agenda?
I move to accept all the posted listings as posted on our agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. And then by roll vote, Mark Beal,
Aye.
Seth Engelborg,
Aye.
Arisman, aye. Ian Golding,
Aye.
Dave LaFleur,
Aye.
Maureen Phillips,
Aye.
and Joe Topham.
Aye.
Okay, so that passes unanimously.
Excellent.
Okay. And then, Jeff, do we just need a motion to adjourn?
Yep. You would just need a motion to adjourn unless you want to take any other comment, Ashley, but or else someone can make that motion.
I have one question, if I may.
Yeah.
Is there any issues with constructive approval on applications?
Good question. I'll handle that. So we've been following along, and that's one of the reasons why we're having this meeting tonight. Is there was some concern with constructive approval. There is active legislation going through the State House. It passed the House on Friday, and I believe it passed the Senate on Monday, that suspended those deadlines related to constructive approval to make sure that there wasn't constructive approval. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yeah.
And then in the meantime, too, we've actually reached out to the, I think there were 4 or 5 applicants that were in kind of the boat of potentially gaining constructive approval because we canceled the last meeting. And we reached out to all of those independent of that to ask for a specific waiver to that 21-day window to make sure that they weren't just taking constructive approval. And we had that as backup for that pending legislation. So we are covered kind of in both directions. And that was kind of the recommended path from town council. So we think we're covered.
So I have a question about the March 9th email that you forwarded for me, Jeff, regarding the land bank's property at 4850 Tennessee Avenue.
Okay.
Is there a stop work order there until that can be resolved?
Yeah, there's no work going on there. We haven't issued out a formal stop work order because there's the town itself, they would fall under the construction moratorium. So they are effectively stopped until the state of emergency is lifted.
And then what happens?
We could issue one out if we feel it necessary. We'll include them on the next agenda in 2 weeks to come in and talk about that project and can resolve. Hopefully we can either issue one out on top of that, or they can kind of go from there and present their thoughts on it, and you guys can make a decision at that point. But I don't anticipate our state of emergency being lifted by the next time we meet.
Thank you, Jeff. Any other commissioners' comments or questions? Okay. Seeing not, then is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Sure.
Second.
Okay. Do we need to roll vote this as well? Mark Beal,
Mark Beal, aye.
Seth Engelborg,
Aye.
Arisman, I. Ian Golding.
Aye.
Dave LaFleur.
Floor, aye.
Maureen Phillips.
Aye.
And Joe Topham.
Aye.
Okay. The meeting is adjourned.
All right, we'll see you guys same
Right.
time.
For those that care, that's the Pulpus Harbor in the background of me.
I like it.
Oh,
I like it.
It was last year, but that was the pulp. I was standing on the harbor taking a picture of our summer cottage.
Great photo.
Don't fall in.
Very proud.
All right, guys.